everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And tonight I'm here, it's Tuesday night, so it's a sketch challenge night. And I have a fun sketch for you. I'm gonna maybe I break my own rules. Well, not really, it's a sketch. So you can interpret it, like you want to, because I'm gonna use the Eden's Garden, and I'm going to use the basic border dies. So a little bit different from what my sketch looks like, but only slightly. It still has the flavor of my sketch. So I'm just checking to see. I can see that I'm live. Sorry about that. Just checking to see. Hey, Lynette. Hey, Catherine. Great. Okay. All right, I can see I'm live. I can see the comments, so we're set to go. So let me switch over to my desktop and I'll show you the sketch. So this is a 5.5 by 8.5 inch cardstock for the card base, scored at 4 1/4. So that forms your card base and folded in half. Layer number 1, which is this yellow piece, is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then you've got 2 pieces. Now, what I said, only because I was having a really hard time trying to draw this on using Word, I said to cut 4 by 4 inch squares, 2 of them, cut on the diagonal, and then trim them, and then cut them in half. Cut them in half on the diagonal, and then trim this blue piece so that it's slightly smaller than the orange piece. Now, I'm going to use basic layer dies, so I'll show you something else you can do if you've got something like the basic layer dies. Hey, Nancy. Hey, Kathleen. And then 2 circles, roughly 1 3/4 for the white and 2 inches for what is the gray circle. So let me show you what I'm going to do with this sketch. As I said, I'm using the Eden's Garden. I'm using these are the basic border dies. I have to say I don't play with these as much as I should, but I really like them. Like, this one is great for clouds. I never think of doing that, but I've used this one that looks kind of like the flap of an envelope, but it's got that point to it, so it's not quite as sharp a point as what my sketch has, but it still kind of has the flavor of the sketch. And then I'm using the layering circles, and I've chosen 2 of the circles, 1 scallop and 1 in the regular circle, that are roughly 1 3/4 and 2 inches. It's not quite exact that, but you can actually adjust it based on the size of your sentiment, because that's what I'm going to put on mine. So I've got my pieces cut here now, and I told you it's 5.5 by 8.5, and I realized I went ahead and cut it at 4 1/4 by 11. But either way, you're going to get the same size of finished card. So I'm going to score this one at 5.5. So if you've got a piece that's 5.5 by 8.5, you'll score it at 4 1/4, and it'll be a booklet fold. And if you've got a piece that's 4 1/4 by 11, you're going to score it at 5.5, and it will be a tent fold. So we're just going to fold this. There we go, bone folder on that score line, and give it a good crease. Now, I've gone ahead and cut a piece. This is soft succulent again, and this is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I've gone ahead and embossed this with the Tasteful Textile embossing folder. So that's going to go on there. Now, I went ahead and cut some of these pieces. So I'm adding a piece. So I went ahead and cut 3 pieces of, this is very a vellum cardstock. This is gold foil. And then this is the Eden's Garden designer series paper. So it's similar to what my sketch was. So if I had done it according to my sketch, I would have cut 2 4 by 4 inch squares, and then I would have, assuming this was a square, I would have layered on here and cut it off. And then the second one, done the same thing and just trimmed it so that it was just slightly smaller than the first one. But for this, because I've used my basic border dies, I actually cut a piece that was 2 inches by 5 1/4 for this one. And then this one was probably 2 1/4 inches by 5 1/4. And this was probably about, let's see, 3 inches by 5 1/4. And I've just gone ahead and I'm just going to layer these on so that they're kind of overlap, or this has got about 1/4 of an inch. Quarter of an inch of the layer underneath showing. And then I'm just going to take, and I'm just going to adhere the pieces together so that they are layered like that. I could have used the circle one as well, but because my sketch had the point to it, yeah, Catherine, I forget to use these all the time. I've used them for certain things, but I don't know why I forget to use them. And they are really cool dies. They're stitched and everything. Who can resist anything that's got stitching on it? All right. So there, I've got my 3 pieces cut. This is just kind of sticking out a little bit. So I'm going to, I'm just going to trim this so my vellum cardstock doesn't show. And then this I'm going to butt up. Isn't that pretty? I just love this Eden's Garden designer series paper. Unfortunately, this paper is only available while supplies last. So even though the Eden's Garden dies, stamp set and dies will be, thankfully, they will be in the January to June mini catalog, but the designer series paper and the cotton paper and the garden gems will not be. Okay, so that's my card front for the most part. Now, this is I've cut out, this is the gold foil, and I've cut out just slightly smaller out of basic white. And I'm going to stamp using the soft succulent. And I think if I've kind of measured right, because I kind of eyeballed it to see which sentiment would fit. I think the Sending Hugs is going to fit. But I just want to add just a little bit of detail behind it. So I'm going to stamp this and just stamp it off. Just to add just a little bit of something underneath. And then I'll stamp the Sending Hugs. Fits just right. There we go. Now, I don't know if you were on one of my, got this going. This I've had sitting here for forever. This is actually some ribbon. I pulled apart the fine art floral ribbon. And just by pulling this strand out of the fine art floral, and I'm really pulling it apart here, you end up with, this has got this kind of creamy color, and then it's got this gold. So I'm going to use this gold that's been sitting here just to give something underneath my piece. And so if you so fine art floral works really well. The frayed grosgrain blushing bride works really well for this. And you just need to take it and on the end, just start to kind of pull the individual strands of the ribbon, and it will start to fray and leave you with threads, which is what I used on some of my other cards, where I actually have used those threads and tied a bow. And then you're left with these kind of fluffy pieces, and this is just going to kind of give some texture to my card. I'm going to try and just put this underneath so that it is like that. We'll see how this goes. All right, let's just put some stamp and seal. How long has it been since we haven't had snail? All right, so we're just going to put some stamp and seal down. Pull this apart so that it shows around my... Okay, this seemed like a good idea at the time. Let's see if I can make this work. There we go. I want this to show, so I kind of want to make it bigger. There we go. And then I'm going to use some dimensionals underneath here. Sometimes I feel like a hoarder because I keep some of these little bits. I try not to keep little bits of paper, but I do kind of keep some of these really cool things like this ribbon. See how pretty that is? Just give it just something texture. Okay. All right. And then these are the garden gems. These are just so pretty. If I can find my take your pick tool. I'm just going to put these there. So they're in kind of two. Oops, there are these. I've forgotten the name of that cut. Somebody can tell me what the name of that cut is of if it was a gemstone. And then, so that's in soft succulent. And then the other two are kind of in cherry cobbler and more of the evening evergreen, the darker shade. So just a little bit. And then I've gone ahead and cut because I'm trying to make sure I have my insides of my card finished off. So I'm going to just go ahead and adhere this strip. So this is a strip of the designer series paper, just a piece that I had extra. So try not to throw these out, or at least I'll try to use them up. I just put this on the side like that. I'll trim it because it's a little bit longer. Like that. And then, let's see. Actually, I think I won't put a sentiment in here, but I will stamp one of these moves on the side. I love this stamp set because it's distinctive, and I am a sucker for distinctive stamps. Just gives so much texture. All right, there. I actually think I know who I'm going to send this to. So, all right, that's the card. Let me just bring in the sketch again. So pretty similar. I did do this one slightly different, and I actually did add that extra layer just because I wanted a little bit of the white. So I added in the very vellum. The very vellum. I don't know why that's on my mind tonight. The vellum cardstock. So pretty similar. So you could either, cut the squares and cut them in half like I suggested, or on the diagonal, or you can use your basic border dies because we have these dies and we should use them. And I have a dog who's right underfoot tonight. I don't know why she's decided that she's going to be with me tonight, but she is. So luckily she's not barking. All right, that's my card. Hope you like it. I hope you'll play along. I did post a link so that you could download the sketch and play along yourself. Yeah, don't forget to post your cards. Oh, let's see here. Come here, Penny. Do you want to see? Come here, Penny. Come here. Yes. Let's see. Everybody wants to see you, but you have to take the ball out of your mouth. There we go. So this is Penny. So I don't know what's up with her. She hasn't been well, but she was on the mend. But I don't know. Sometimes she's quite wanting to be with me when she's not feeling good. So we'll see. Hopefully she's not getting sick again. All right. So play along. Post your cards on my Facebook group, and will do draw. It's the 23rd of November already, so in 7 days or 8 days, I'll be doing a draw from people who, for those who have shared your cards. Don't fall off. Let's see. I will not be live on Thursday night because I do have to go over to Vancouver for the day, and so at this time, I will likely be sitting at the ferry terminal waiting to come home. So I will not be live on Thursday night with the mystery challenge, but I will be live at 11 o'clock on Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Saturday morning. So hopefully you will join me then. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Bye. Happy stamping.